G'day viewers, Sep here. What we're going to do today is we're going to re-oil the kitchen chopping board, and here it is here. So it's looking pretty dry on the one side here. Most of the oil's sort of disappeared off it now. The other side's not too bad, it's got some cuts and so forth on it. We're going to use this chopping board oil. It says it's timber benchtop oil, but it talks about using it on chopping boards. It's safe for food once it's dry, etc, etc. So it's a Bondell product. Got that out of Bunnings a long time ago. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to give it a light sand. It is a bit rough and the knife cuts on it, so we'll sand it off lightly using a little bit of 320 grit sandpaper. So it only needs a light sand. Okay, that should do it. So we'll give it a wipe off with a clean cloth, just to get the dust off it. Okay, so I've also made up this little stand. It's pretty easy to do. Got a couple of screws through it. Just pokes up a little bit. I've filed the tops off a little bit so it's not too pointy. Just on the ends. Got two of these. And what we do is I'll use that to hold the board, so I can put it on top like that. Then what we do is we'll do the top first, go around the top. I won't do the sides of this point, just the top, and I can grab it, flip it over, put it back down, and then do the other side and then the sides, and that's how we do it. So I've already mixed this up, but if you're going to mix this up, give this a mix before you use it. Just make sure you use a stirrer that doesn't have any paint or any residue of anything else on it. So the same with your brush. This is a brand new brush. Don't use anything that's been in another product or got paint all over or been used for paint. So all we do now, we just go over the top. It soaks into the wood. Doesn't sit on top of it really. It soaks in, makes it all waterproof. Seals the top up. Seals the timber up. So depending on how it comes up, I might do 2 coats. Normally you just do 1 coat, leave it for an hour or so depending on the temperature, and then you can rub it off, or rub it I suppose, rub it into the wood. But I like to leave it sit on it for maybe overnight, both sides. Have a look at the next day. If it's all soaked in, I might give it another coat. If it's still sitting on it, I'll just rub it off like it says and let it dry properly before you use it, and it'll be all done. We'll just flip it over. Do the other side. This is probably the worst side. So having this on the stand also allows you to get the brush underneath a little bit on the edge, so if any of it runs down off the sides, I can get the brush to take it all off, so I can wipe it off. And that's that. So what I like to do now with the brush is, because it's thick with the oil, just get a bit of newspaper, put it inside the newspaper, just like that, and push down on the newspaper on your brush. Just squeeze out that excess oil. Probably can do the same if you've got paint on it or whatever. You've got a paint job, just squeeze it out. just to get the excess out. And like I said, I'm going to possibly use this tomorrow. So instead of putting it in the mineral turps now, I'll just leave it like that, give it a bit of a brush, and then I'll put it in a plastic bag, just one of those clip-lock bags. Just poke it in there. This one goes in all the way. And I'll seal it up, flatten it out, seal all the air out of it, just flatten it down. And that's it. That should be right tomorrow, so it shouldn't dry out. Just fold it up a little bit. Make sure I got all the air out of it, which I have. And that's ready for tomorrow. Now, the other thing is with these cans, something that you probably may or may not know, but sometimes the easiest way to stop any splash when you put the lid back on these and use the hammer to hammer it down is I like to put a rag over the top. So put a rag over the top of it, hammer, and tap it down. And you can do that for paint as well, generally more so for paint. You tap it down, the rag over the top stops any paint splashing out if you've managed to get some in the ridge of where the lid goes. Otherwise, if you do it without the rag and hit it down, the paint goes everywhere. So just a little bit of a trick of the trade, I suppose. That's it. Take it easy. I'll see you on the next one.